Perimeters of squares and rectangles. The perimeter means the distance around an object. Now we're first going to look at a square. Now a square is equal on all four sides. So if one side is 295 feet, you know this side has to be 295, this side has to be 295, and so does this side have to be 295 feet. So you don't have to write 295 because it's a square. You know that all sides are equal on a square. And so the question is, what is the perimeter, or what is this outside dimension? It's like if you're going to put up a fence. It's the perimeter of an area. And the formula is the perimeter equals 4 sides. And so that's just a short way of saying, you can write it out perimeter and spell out equals, and you can write it the number 4 and sides. But they shorten it and use symbols, and so P equals 4S. So we want to find P, the perimeter, equals 4, and this means multiplication when you see two numbers together, is 4 times, is like this, you put X in here, times 295 feet. Another symbol that they also use sometimes, instead of an X in there, they do 4 with a little dot over here, it's like a period, times 295 feet. It means the same thing. So let's do the math. Let's put P in front of that also. So 295 times 4. So 4 times 5 is 20. Carry the 2. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 2 is 38. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So it's feet. So perimeter then, P equals 1,180 feet. So the perimeter of this square, with each side being 295 feet, equals 1,180 feet. Let's look at the perimeter of a rectangle. The perimeter of a rectangle is, again, all the 4 sides added together. Now, a rectangle has 2 sides, the opposite sides are equal. So if the opposite sides are equal, you know that if this side is 335 meters, this side is the same, 335 meters. And if this is 675 meters, so is this side. So it's the perimeter then of this rectangle is combining the 2 lengths, so it's over here, 2 lengths, plus combining the 2 widths. So you got to add these 2 together, 335, 335, and 675, and 675. But to write it in shorthand, so to speak, instead of writing this out, perimeter equals 2 lengths plus 2 widths, we just substitute perimeter for P equals 2L for the length plus 2W. So let's just plug in the numbers, and we'll put it over here so we have more room. P equals 2L plus 2W. So P equals 2, again, let's put this here, symbol in here, and the length is what? 675 meters. 675 plus 2, and the width is 335. So let's, again, use this symbol, that's multiplication, as 335. So let's do the math. So 675 times 2 equals, 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times, carry the 1, 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So P now equals, 2 times 675 is 1350, plus, now let's do 335. 335 times 2 equals, 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7, 2 times 3 is 6. So it's 670. So that's plus 670. Now P equals the sum of these two numbers. Now remember that 1350 is this side, and the 670 is 335 plus 335. So 1350 plus 670, 0 plus 0 is 0, 7 plus 5 is 12, 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 6 is 10. So it's 1 plus 1 is 2. So perimeter equals 2,020 watt. Now it's not feet, it's not inches, it says meters. So make sure you put the right indication what it is. Is it inches? Is it feet? Is it meters? Is it yards? Is it miles? Whatever it is. So it's meters. So M-E-T-E-R-S. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. What you have really here, this is algebra. This is really, we're substituting this here, we're putting numbers in, and you'll see how easy it is once you understand how to work this here. This is an algebraic formula. Later on, when you'll be studying algebra, you'll be doing this here. So you really have now a lesson in algebra. But it's simple, as you can see. You just have to understand perimeter equals 2 lengths plus 2 widths, and algebra substitutes letters for words. And so now you just got a little lesson in algebra. Let's look at this scene now. Some of the Texas Longhorns have escaped through the broken barbed wire fence. It needs to be replaced. The ranch is a rectangle measuring 450 by 240 yards. How many feet of barbed wire need to be ordered? The fence needs 3 strands of barbed wire. But before we do the math, let's take a look at some of these Texas Longhorns. How would you like to meet this bull in an open field? Let's solve this problem. It's a rectangle fence that measures 450 by 240 yards. There are 3 strands of barbed wire. How many feet of barbed wire need to be ordered? That's the question. All right, the first thing, it's a rectangle. So let's draw this here area of this fence. Make this a rectangle. So it's 450 watt. It's yards. So make sure you put in yards. And that's the length. And the width is 240 yards. So remember that if this one side is 240 yards, and it's a rectangle, then the opposite side is equal. This width is also 240, and the length of this is 450, so is this side 450. And remember that formula, perimeter, that's what we're trying to find here, the outside perimeter equals 2 lengths, and this is the length, L equals 450, plus we have to add, and this is the width, equals 240, plus 2W. So P equals 2, and I'll put an X in here, times 450, plus 2 widths. So it's 2 times 240. I'll do the math over here, so that's 450 times 2. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So it's P equals, that 2 times 450 is 900 plus 240 times 2. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 2 is 4. Now, we also could add it. 2 times 40 is the same as 240 plus 240, whichever one is easier. 0, 4 plus 4 is 8, and 2 plus 2 is 4. So 2 times 240, or 240 plus 240 equal the same. So it's plus 480. So P equals, of that rectangle, equals 900 plus 480. 0 plus 0 is 0, 8 plus 0 is 8, 9 plus 4 is 13. So P equals 1,380, and that's yards. Remember we have over there? Now you may think, well, I found now the perimeter. That's the answer. But notice it has 3 strands of barbed wire. So we have to multiply that number by 3 to get, because it's not just one time around, it's 3 times around. It's a fence. It has 1 strand, another strand, another strand. That's to keep the cattle from escaping that area. So it's 1,380 times 3. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 8, 8, 16, 24. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So, and that's yards. So with 3 strands of barbed wire is 4,140 yards. Now again, you might think you're finished. But notice the question says, this is in yards. And the question, how many feet? How many feet? Not how many yards. That's how many yards. And remember, 1 yard, a yardstick, has 3 feet in it. So every yard has 3 feet, so we have to multiply that number again by 3. And so you have to multiply this number then again by 3 to convert yards to feet. So 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. And 3 times 4 is 12. And so that's feet. So finally we get to the answer. So around this fence with 3 strands of barbed wire, that ranch would need to order 12,420 feet of barbed wire.
Please pause the video now and complete the problems in your workbook. When finished, press play, and we'll continue with the next lesson.